Please help yourself to food and drinks, explore David's mementos, and feel free to use the microphone if you wish once we're done here.
Thank you, Mom.
Oh, I have to give you permission.
Yeah.
Because you've all been here one way or another.
Okay.
I'm okay now. Please help yourself to the food and drinks. Explore David's mementos and feel free to use the microphone. Today is Sunday, January 13th, and it's David's and my day for our family to thank you all. We came from away, and you first got to know us during our holidays when we visited Jane in 2005. As David was drifting into Alzheimer's, we decided to move to Salt Spring, and we enjoyed the ever-changing tides of Booth Canal at our new home. Slowly, the need for care beyond my capability brought David to be helped by the veterans and BC Help. 4 years ago, David moved into Greenwoods, where he was cared for compassionately. This community of caregivers has deeply enriched our lives. Ryan Gibson got a new heading. He's called Complex Care Coordinator of Greenwoods. To explain Ryan's title, Complex Care Coordinator, here is a quote from Jean Taylor, Board Chair of the Greenwoods Elder Care Society, 2008-2009. Quote, economic conditions exert growing complexities to deliver a quality service and provision of safe environments for clients and staff. And advocacy for real client need is an ever-changing political climate, in an ever-changing political climate. In spite of significant underfunding compared to other facilities, GES achieved outstanding licensing review, continuous quality changes to dementia care in Greenwoods, having improved the ability to best serve all GES complex care clients, families, and staff. As David's decline increased, he was fortunate to be admitted to the newly installed dementia care unit, an ongoing process of upgrading of a limited architectural facility and increased demand for care. At my request, Ryan gave me the names of those persons who attended to David's nursing care over the years.
Yeah.
These don't include Carla or the dietary people or those wonderful housekeeping people. Hi.
Here's Ryan's remarkable list of those who gave David a little bit of sugar to make the medicine go down. Amanda, Simon, Ellen, Robert, Sophia, Sonia, Bess, Diana, Elaine, Darlene, Heather W., Janice, Georgia, Hugh, Flora, Robbins, Adria, Janice, Cheryl, Jenna, Diana, Bert, Bonnie, Oria, Unda, Giz, Cindy, Debbie, Lori, Diane, Peter, Jill, Linda, Odette.
Let me have it. Claire, Catherine, Heather H., Christina, Kirk, Patty, Arnica, Kevy, Deborah, Vivian, Natasha, Darcy. Can you believe it? Wow. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you.
This was the community that facilitated David's graceful ending. The family has written about David you did not know, and it has been published in the Driftwood and the Globe and Mail. Our grandson, Kipling Squire, will now read it to you. Kippy.
Hey.
There he is.
All right. David James Lewis, an intrepid psychiatrist, artist, and intellectual, died January 1st, 2013, in his 93rd year in the Greenwoods Extended Care Facility, where he was cared for compassionately by his family, and his family was present as he passed peacefully into his next adventure. David was born in Montreal in 1920, the eldest of 3 children to Dr. David Slater Lewis and Evelyn Ross Lewis. David studied liberal arts at McGill University while pursuing his love of photography by working as a reporter for his uncle P.D. Ross of the Ottawa Journal during his summer breaks. Soon after graduating in 1941, he joined the Royal Canadian Navy and served as an officer with the combined operations, surviving beach landings in both Normandy and Sicily. Many years later, he and his naval colleagues compiled a 2-volume photo essay of their war years from Saint Nazaire to Singapore. The collection of World War II photographs he took with his precious Zeiss camera proved invaluable. As lieutenant commander, he returned with his fellow Canadians to Normandy and the combined operations at the 1997 reunion of the Dieppe raid in 1942. After the war, he studied pre-medicine at McGill and met his future wife, Kit, née Catherine Jefferson. Kit was his close companion, his intellectual and emotional confidant, and they had a kind of relationship that was rare for that era. After earning his medical degree at the University of Toronto in 1950, he interned in psychiatry at Sunnybrook Hospital, the Phipps Clinic at Johns Hopkins Hospital, the Maudsley Hospital, and Bethlem Royal in England. He then returned to Toronto to practice at St. Michael's Hospital and teach at the University of Toronto. In 1964, his career took him back to McGill University and the Royal Victoria Hospital. In 1971, political turmoil in Quebec compelled him to move his family and career to Calgary, where he taught and practiced at the University of Calgary and the Foothills Hospital. By that time, he had earned the fellowship of the Royal College of Physicians and membership to the Medical Research Council in Psychiatry. David was curious about all sorts of ideas and how they related to the spiritual and psychological landscape. Throughout his formative years, he was inspired by his meetings with Carl Jung, J.B.S. Haldane, Naomi Mitchison, R.D. Laing, and others. David was an early adopter of the new methods in psychotherapy and took part in research into therapeutic uses of hallucinogenic drugs. His creative and progressive approach was reflected in various undertakings, including the establishment of the Mood Clinic at the Foothills Hospital. David always had a sketchbook with him and recorded his impressions of the world and people around him with.
It's okay. This is the part Kippy will know. Oh, darling, that's okay.
David always had a sketchbook with him and recorded his impressions of the world and people around him with startling insight. He had an eye for art and built a significant collection of paintings, Inuit carvings, and books, many of which have been donated to the University of Calgary. In spite of his loss of hearing, music delighted him to the end of his life. David is survived by his wife of 63 years, Kit, children David, Anne, Peter, Jane, and Naomi, and his brother John Lewis. He was preceded in death by his sister Marjorie. David has been blessed by and was always an inspirational leader to his grandchildren, David, Skye, Morgan, Patrick, Lily, Cole, Abigail, Anna, Julia, Kit, Theo, Stephen, Odin, and great-grandchildren David, Jed, and Grace Valentina.
As my son said, we're spreading the Dharma.
David's final years were spent on Salt Spring Island, where sadly his mental faculties diminished due to Alzheimer's disease. He lived at the Greenwoods Extended Care Facility for 4 years, where he was much loved and cared for by the staff, and was visited daily by his wife and family. And that's why we're here to commemorate